can it feel suspended, yet move so quickly?
I'm looking at this as if there's time there, but there isn't.
When I was a child, time felt like an eternity. Coming out of my mid-20s, I became very aware of how fast it truly passes by. I didn't have the same kind of responsibilities as I do now that detracted from just being a child. I place this pressure on myself to accomplish more, to make up for lost time, whether it's lost from being at the office or from sleeping.
It's because I desire to do more than what my day is made up of. It's just, I can't do everything I want to do.
People often say that time is there, we just aren't making good use of it. That's why prioritizing is so important. The problem is, if you sleep 7 hours a night and work 40 hours a week, if you cook dinner, if you clean the house, if you take the dog to the dog park every day, how much time is really left to read a book, to start a painting, to go for a run or visit a friend? This is what I've been juggling since my last upload. Trying to prioritize things I want to do when there's free time available. Sometimes I can finish something in a few hours, or a month's worth of an hour here and there. Other times I'm too tired to exert myself.
And sometimes the unexpected happens.
We didn't have power for 12 hours yesterday, plus some other hours after we did have power for a little bit. We didn't have power again. It's been out since 11. I'm looking at this as if there's time there, but there isn't because there's no power. I don't know what time it is, like 2 o'clock? We're hungry. Bon appetit.
There are a few things I try to make time for every day. In the mornings, I try to set aside at least 15 minutes to study Spanish. In the afternoons after work, I try to make physical activity, aka mental health care, and creating something priorities. That doesn't mean I'm able to do these things every day, but I try to, first and foremost. If I created a pile of everything else left by the wayside, it would be made up of books, sewing projects, piano practice, blogging, going out, more art, more Spanish, and cleaning. Definitely cleaning.
So much of my time and energy is expended at the office.
It's pretty frustrating. I often feel like there are so many other more important things I could be doing. I should be doing. Last year, I bought a self-help kind of book, but only got a chapter in before I actually started reading another book that was more interesting at the time. Well, I finally have revisited this book. It's called Trust the Process by Sean McNiff. The author is known for his work in art therapy. Just after a couple of chapters, I really like the perspective he's placing on the art of creation. In the beginning, at least, he writes a lot about self-placed limitations, such as having an idea that isn't exactly actualized on paper, and therefore believing it's not good or correct. He writes, the most rudimentary exercise for those wishing to experiment with stepping into the unknown involves painting, drawing, moving, writing, or making sounds without any goal in mind. This sounds like advice for a beginner of a craft, but it fully resonated with me because for what free time I do have, I spend an awful lot of it thinking, controlling, and critiquing what I'm doing while I'm doing it, or before I even begin doing it. I decided to try to create something without any prior ideas or thoughts about what it is. All I had to do was make marks wherever my hand wished to move and trust the process. I got really excited because the not thinking had created an actual thing.
The drawing was finished in under an hour, but the painting, oh my gosh. I think I spent about 12 hours painting.
That time was stretched over a 2-week period, and so it felt much longer, especially waiting for the bits to dry. I noticed how controlling I was becoming, trying to color in the tiny spaces, careful not to bleed the colors, and planning the color placement. I started to defeat the purpose of the piece, but I was enjoying the process. At least until about halfway through the tail feathers, when I wished I hadn't chosen to be so meticulous. Even though this free flow creation took a lot longer than I expected. It was time well spent. It's how I want to spend my time more often. So I'm not sure how I can find that better balance between work and responsibilities and time for creation. But I guess that's a goal to move towards.